Adam in Hilton Head, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you, sir?
Pretty good.
Oh, that's good to hear. First off, I started watching y'all's podcast, I guess you would call it, on YouTube last night. I was listening to my non-existent God's music, and it's called Christian music or contemporary music.
Okay. The music exists.
Do what?
The music exists.
The music exists, yeah. And,
it's gotten worse, though, because when I was a teenager, we had like Carmen and Petra, early Petra, where it was, acoustic, and it was still the same band. So, I mean, that was actually decent.
Absolutely, and then DC Talk, too.
Yeah, that was crap. Sorry. I didn't like that when I didn't like that when I was a Christian, so go ahead.
Yeah, and it's about the message. And, it's interesting that I put a quote around when you say was. How can you say that you were a Christian and you're not anymore? I mean, obviously you converted to atheism.
Well, it's not something you convert to. Atheism is not a worldview. There's no dogma, no tenets. It's not something you convert to. I used to believe and follow the teachings of Jesus Christ and seek to convert others as well and live as a Christ-like life in accordance with my obligation under 1 Peter 3:15, and now I believe that I was mistaken all of those years, that I didn't have any good reason to do so, and so I don't believe. And because I don't also believe in any other gods, I'm an atheist. I mean, that's the label that fits when you don't believe in gods.
And that's interesting that you pulled that scripture to placate your argument.
Yeah, well, I had an obligation.
Right.
Okay.
So what's your point, Adam?
My point is that, I've talked to an atheist on Facebook, and me and him are kind of going round and round, and I realized that atheism puts no faith. They actually have no faith in anything that's pure.
What do you mean pure?
No pure love. Well, there's no such thing as
I don't have
pure
faith.
love
I don't have faith in anything, but I don't know what you mean by this pure love and all that.
Right. I mean, you love your children just as well as I love my children. Correct?
Well, if I had any, I'm pretty sure that I would. But I get your. I love my family. I love my family.
Okay. This is okay. So when you have a child, then you'll know that there's a God.
Okay, so now I know that you're just a prank caller. Thanks so much, Adam.
I'm not. No, I have a point, sir.
Oh, come on now. Adam, do you not realize that there are countless atheists who have children, and you're saying that I'll understand it when I have kids? First of all, there's nothing about having kids that demonstrates that there is an intelligent, supernatural agent outside of the universe that created everything and gives a rat's ass about who I have sex with. There's nothing about having a kid that does that. This appeal to, wait till you have a kid, first of all, it's insulting because it implies that people cannot grasp this. But also, It's a stupid way to defend what you actually believe because you're admitting that your belief is so weak and feeble that the only thing that could possibly convince somebody is the magical mystery of having a little bundle of joy in their arms. And that's crap. That's not even biblical. You're just making stuff up to try to justify why I don't believe when you do. And so you found the one thing that's different, and that must be the hole in my heart that needs Jesus. I have to tell you, Adam, there is no hole in my heart. I am free from dogma, I am free from superstition, and I am striving to be free from fallacies, like asserting that you'll just get it when you have a kid.
How can you be free from dogma when something that is dogmatic can never be changed?
Yeah, you stop accepting the dogma. That's how you're free from it.
And you speak out against it, and you.
But really, how can you not accept something that's unchangeable, irrevocable? That's like saying, let's go back to the little bundle of joy that God has created in the mother's womb, that evolution cannot prove.
What do you mean evolution cannot prove?
Does God crawl up in every uterus?
You do realize that procreation is the driving force of evolution, right?
Yeah, but the odds and chances of evolution making what we have today
are 100%.
Is 100%. That is completely wrong, sir.
No,
You can't use
we
science
know that
to
it
prove
happened.
Anything.
We know that it happened.
You have absolutely no clue that it happened.
Okay.
Your evidence is just as unprovable as any other evidence.
Do you have a belly button?
Do you? Yeah,
Yes,
we all have a
yes.
belly button.
Right. That's
Why?
evidence that you are a child of your parents, right? That you came from your parents. Your parents effectively created you, not God. They have belly buttons, and so on, and it goes all the way back.
So here's my main question. Why I called
Okay.
is what hope do you have in life? As an atheist,
Oh, we're
what
so
hope
pitiful.
Do you have?
I'll tell you.
You don't believe in hope, do you?
Sure.
Yes, I have all kinds of hopes. As a matter of fact, as I just finished explaining, my good friend Jerry DeWitt, who was a Pentecostal preacher, who has a kid, by the way, and who is now an outspoken atheist, just wrote a book called Hope After Faith that perhaps you could read and gain some understanding, because the
Hope
fact...
after faith.
Yes, he's no longer...
There's no such thing, man.
Bye. I either don't believe you or don't give a rat's ass what you have to say anymore. I'm sorry, Adam. If you just, oh, no, you can't have... You know what? This question about meaning and purpose, what meaning and purpose can you have in life without a God, is really insidious, because religions, Christianity in particular, infect you with a disease, or more accurately, make you think there's something wrong with you so that they can offer you the cure. And so they make you think that you have a hole in your heart that they can fill with Jesus. And they make you think that without a God, your life has no meaning or purpose. There is no intrinsic meaning or purpose to life. There is no externally imposed meaning or purpose to life, and you wouldn't want there to be. Why would you want somebody else to pick your major? Would you want somebody else to tell you at birth what job you should have? Would you want somebody to pick out your mate for you? Make all the decisions in your life for you? That's what an externally imposed meaning and purpose is. I have whatever meaning and purpose for my life that I choose to give it. I am free to explore the universe and engage in things and take joy and pleasure from learning and experiencing and having sex and eating food and, yes, even having babies. None of it requires anything from a God, and a God necessarily diminishes all the value of that. When you walk around and you look at a beautiful flower and you say, oh, isn't it wonderful what God has created? That's horseshit. The flower is beautiful because of this grand process of evolution that has tuned our brains to accept some things as attractive and some things as not attractive. But really, the variety within the flower world is beautiful because it tells us a lot more about the individual species that are running around pollinating it. And you can go around and look at all this stuff, and it is more amazing than you, Adam, can possibly comprehend. And if you inject a God into it, you've diminished all of that, because a God could create a flower that is so beautiful that when you look at it, you had an orgasm and died. But that's not what happens. And when you inject a God into this, you infect and poison absolutely everything, to borrow from Hitchens. I don't need a God for any meaning and purpose in life, and neither does anybody else. And you wouldn't want it. What you want is the security of not having to admit that you don't know things. So you pretend to have answers. Like, oh, I don't understand. How can Matt seem to be so happy? How can Matt possibly enjoy life? Oh, it's because he doesn't have a kid yet. That's not the way it works.